grateful to be able to share on today, the day that I was born. Um, to be here 8 years later, after being diagnosed with uterine cancer stage 3AB, it's it's so surreal. I mean, just hearing those words it put a lot of fear in me. It made me anxious and depressed, and I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, I can't even imagine. I couldn't imagine 8 years later at that point. Um, I think what helped me on my journey was definitely, God was moving just in my favor. Just things just happened just unexpectedly that I know God's hand was in it. I started off at another hospital with my journey, and we went through surgery and 6 months of chemotherapy to come out at the end to still have cancer in my body. And I was so devastated because I really put my trust in this doctor, because I have never really been sick. And so I didn't know. And I was like, wait a minute, the cancer is still there. Why? And the reason why I asked why is because 6 months earlier, he sent me to another colleague of his because I had complications from my surgery. And the colleague said, I think your cancer is still there. You may want to tell your oncologist. And when I did mention it to him at that time, he said, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm the oncologist. If anything, the chemotherapy will get it, you're fine. But here we go, 6 months later, I was not fine. And I looked at him and I asked him, why didn't you do you have the genomic testing? He said, yes. I said, well, why didn't you do it? Why didn't you biopsy it? Why didn't you check to see what would work better on my cancer than just the typical uterine cancer chemotherapy? And I asked him, I really did. I said, if this was your mother, your wife, or your sister, what would you have done? So I walked out of there and he was like, well, we can, this is the race it's not about the race. This is not a marathon. I said, it's easy for you to say because you're on the other side. I walked out of the door. I was, in tears, and my caregiver was with me, and I called my twin and I was like, oh, the cancer is still here. She said, well, Yolanda, I just saw a commercial for the Cancer Treatment Center of America. Why don't you just call them? Let's just call them. And I knew about the Cancer Treatment Center. But of course, at that moment in March, when I was first diagnosed, your mind is racing. I didn't have any time to think. It was just like quick in the hospital. So I was like, okay. So it was December. It was right around this time. And I called, and the intake nurse said, okay, we can schedule you for December 23rd. I said, December 23rd? Isn't that almost Christmas? Y'all open on Christmas? This is a true story. I said, y'all open on Christmas? She said, we're open every day. I was like, are you going to see me? She said, yes, we're going to see you. And so, I mean, that right then and there kind of just like, oh my goodness. It just kind of just took that, it just gave me a little bit more hope. So I get to the center, of course, and say, when I walked in, my caregiver and I, when we walked into the Cancer Treatment Center, standing there were the security team greeting us. I was like, wow, They were like, hi, let me get your bags. You check in here. And I mean, you just felt like, I was like, this is so different. This is not like a typical hospital. You're not walking in. I felt like this was a different place. It was automatic. And so of course, we went through all the tests and everything. Everyone was so loving. I mean, it was genuine. You can feel the genuine concern and care about you. So I finally, met my oncologist, and she said, Yolanda, we sent away for your results from your pathology report, because we're going to do the genomic testing. We're going to show you, see what really works better for you. And I was like, well, doctor, what do you think? How long do I have, to live? How long do I have? She said, I don't know. I'm not God. She said, everybody tell you that you have a time limit, you need to run. And I mean, but that was Dr. Bonta. She was like, I'm going to look at the data, and we're going to work together as a team to give you the best care. That's what I'm going to do. And I was like, wow. Then I got involved, with cancer fighters. And I remember talking to the person over Cancer Fighters at that time. And I remember the tree was out by the dining hall when I first started. And I said, what is this? How do you get your name on this tree? She said, after 5 years, we have something called Celebrate Life. And your name is placed on the tree. So I stood at that tree, and I looked at it and I prayed. I said, God, 5 years, please let my name be on that tree. And we had pastoral care and mind and body. And my mind and body team and pastoral care will come. I was dodging them for a while though, because anxiety and the depression. And I remember, they were on my schedule, of course, to be seen. She caught me in the dining hall. Her name is Shannon. She was my mind and body counselor. And she was like, Yolanda, you've been dodging me. I was like, all righty. Well, oh yeah. She said, you're on your way up to chemotherapy, aren't you? I said, yes. She said, well, you can't dodge me there. I'm coming with you. And a friendship was born. And talking with her and Dr. J, he was my psychologist at that time, and my pastoral care, Pastor Wanda, what they gave me is hope. And I thought about that. She said the biggest medicine, one of the things that they instill in mind and body, the biggest medicine is not the chemotherapy. It's not the radiation. It's hope. You train your mind and thoughts to know that even in spite of what is there, the outcome is what you're looking for, a better outcome. And I just recently ran across, I did not know this, I recently ran across that South Carolina State's motto is, while I breathe, I hope. And that is such an impactful statement. As long as you have breath in your body, there's nothing like hope. I think that's my story. I can't give up. I even just talking with other cancer patients and other caregivers and just family and friends, especially the people who are newly diagnosed, they ask me, what is it that you did or you did not do? I was like, there is no magic bullet. There isn't anything I have done special or anything. But what I do every single morning, I wake up with hope. No matter what, I don't care if I'm aching, it's pouring down rain. I remember I had a boss who said, rain is just liquid sunshine. I like dance in the rain. I take every day as a good day to be grateful and hopeful that there's something good about this day. So that is what has helped me over the last 8 years, because even with, doing the genomic testing, believe it or not, come to find out that my uterine cancer could only be treated by a kidney cancer medicine. But it took 4 years for my scans to be showed no evidence of the disease. And even in those 4 years, I never, it was like, I think 2019, right before the pandemic, I believe, when I had my first clear scan. But even in all that, I never gave up. So I think that the biggest thing is stay focused, listen to your doctors, don't skip any, visits. Of course, we know this is post-pandemic, so we know a lot of things have gone a little AWOL with that. But the biggest thing is making sure that you stay hopeful, stay positive. And even if you do have one of those days when you just can't get up and you're just not feeling it. Dr. J, he used to tell me, you have 5 minutes. He said, whatever, if you take 10 minutes of crying, being sad or depressed, you have to do 10 minutes of something fun, something that brings you joy. For every sadness or depression or anxiety, find something that will make you happy. I just have to be hopeful about what the outcome is. Even if it's not what I want it to be, I have to believe that there's a plan. You have me covered. The doctors know what to do. And we're going to come out good. Everything is going to be fine. Whatever it is, we can handle it. I'm going to take this leap of faith. But again, if I had to just share anything again, it's just do not give up hope. And also use your support system. I love cancer fighters. I promise you, there are so many awesome men and women out there who have a story and journey almost similar to yours. And they've talked to each other, use the sites, use the website, go to the cancer fighter activities, the drum circle. That was one of my saving graces as well. The drum circles, the paint, we used to do paint classes. Oh, and we can't talk about bingo. Who doesn't love some bingo? Bingo is everything. They even have cooking things for cooking, books, arts, everything. So, but use your support. It's okay to not know. That's why, we're here. Everyone is here.